between the four sides.
Armandorn.
Because when we are reading the new facade has been made in 1987, just only the front, because there was a lot of statues. So it has been painted in the second part of the 16th century. I told you, this is the inner cupola, okay? The other one we are seeing by the ground with the bricks, and we'll work in the middle, okay? The architecture and just only first the not the central side, the other seven, because there is a little difference in the middle, okay? So starting from the top, the gray piece that is common for all the sides, we find the angelic spheres, and in order of power, of importance. So, believe me, we find archangels, angels. I don't point every one of that also, but archangels, angels, thrones, fortitudes, virtues, and principes. The most powerful are in the middle, in the central side, that angels with Ecce Homo and Inri at the sides are the seraphim and cherubs and seraphim are the most powerful. So, in the third level, we find on our right of Christ some saints, you see? There is in particular one with a grill, you see? There is a grill. This is Saint Florence. You can recognize him because the grill is the instrument of his martyrdom. Saint Lawrence on the grill. No, really. And we find a lot of VI persons, you see? There are popes, cardinal, emperors, kings, do you see? A lot of important persons that are already saved in the heaven. 1, 2, 3, fourth level on the clouds, we find the virtues, the three theological, religious virtues, and the four cardinal virtues, that from the philosophy. Also other that are moral virtues, for example, unity. But the most important are the three theological and the four cardinal ones. Okay, for example, with the sword, you see there is on my right there is one with a sword. Is the justice. We can see very well, but here there is the prudence, because echo. This is. Do you see that in yellow and green? She has a mirror and a snake. Do you see? The mirror is to see back on the back, and the snake, the serpent, was considered a prudent animal. So for that are the symbols of the prudence. So there is also the art. So justice, prudence, fortitude, and temperance are the four cardinal virtues. The three, the theological, are in the middle. I comment after. So the last, at the bottom level, of course, is dedicated the hell. Not only the hell, because there is also, you see, on the green hills, there are some saved.
Preferisci starmi dietro o preferisci andare?
Finisco e vado.
Okay.
Vai, vai.
Perché ce l'ho qui bloccato.
Sì, no, devo finire. Vai, 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 vai.
Ok.
So, there are some common souls saved that are ascending above, you see. But the majority are damned, of course. And the hell with a lot of devils that are punishing them. For everyone, or every side, stands for one of the seven capital sins. in connection with the seven virtues generally. So we find, for example, some mythological animals, creatures. Now there is the Cerberus, do you see? That dog with three heads? Or there is one Hydra. So also pagan mythological creatures and Christian one, the devils. There is also, do you see this huge devil? This huge demon on my right? Is, of course, that is eating a devil. Is Satan, and person. Satan, Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, Lucifer, you can call it like you prefer, a lot of names in the history. So, is Satan. And when you see the baptistry, there is another big devil that is eating a devil. So, of course, Vasari has been inspired by the mosaic of the baptistry, not vice versa. No? And okay, the central side, starting from, I told you, there are the fire and the cherubs, and there is, of course, Christ in judgment position. And on his right, our left, there is a woman in blue and red. Of course, is Mary. On the other side, with a cross, there is Saint John the Baptist. Do you see? Yeah. We find also two persons, quite naked. You see, with some leaves. Of course, are Adam and Eve. That, at the end of the time, has been pardoned. Also them for their original sin. We find also a baby, a sort of Cupid, sort of putto, that is hitting the globe. Do you see? It means no more human world after the universal judgment. And now we find the three religious virtues. In the middle there is the charity with the baby. When you see some babies that is looking for feed, generally is the charity. On our right we find the faith by the cross and the hope that is praying. The last, probably one also of the most important fresco is this green hill, and at the top there is a woman that has been crowned by two angels. It represents the triumph of the Christian church. And we find also a very old woman with a lot of nettles, you see? She is Mother Nature, that at the end of the time is exhausted. You see? She is tired, quite dead. On the two sides we find a skeleton that is, of course, the death in person, that is breaking the sickle, you see, the blade of the sickle. Why? Of course, it means no more death. And on the other side, an old winged man, that is Kronos, the god of the time, that is offering an empty and broken clepsydra. It means no more time. No more human time after the universal judgment. No more world, no more death, no more time, no more war. Do you see there is also a baby with a broken sword? So, no, nothing more of human after the universal judgment. Just only eternity. If you were a good Christian, up in the paradise. If not, down in the hell for the eternity. For that 8 sides. And I think when you go, has been made by Donatello, by Paolo Uccello, by Lorenzo Ghiberti.
463, yeah. And this is the part where you climb Mount Everest. Not dead yet. Just close. Sunshine, sunshine. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Ah, yay! Oh, lots of humans. We did it!
Old palace, a well, but there was the gallows because inside has been made the executions when there was the death. This is the first naked statue made since the classical period. It has been made before the last one. And it has been commissioned by Cosimo. Some art is a Dominican church in which lived Girolamo Savonarola. I don't know if you know. Was a monk that for some years established a sort of.
Alright. I'm not good at walking our normal stairs. Going down. Rubia. There's that hole.
Yeah.
Saturn, Kronos. Abbiamo fatto un tour stupendo sulla cupola,
Sì.
Adesso abbiamo alle spalle all'incirca l'albero di Natale di Firenze e auguro a tutti quelli che ci stanno vedendo un felice Natale e uno strepitoso anno nuovo. Saluti da Firenze.
Grazie.
Mille.
Ah, mille.
I have not the time to explain all because
No.
everything.
No.
That is.
Gemini.
Gemini is
Twins.
that.
Yeah.
Twins. My is lion.
Ah.
Start from this.
Yeah.
It has been made in
The 12th century they started the expansion. Gosh.
where are the angels. Do you remember that in the second level there was the angel?
Yeah.
At the same, of course, Vasari copied this. This is a Gothic.
Okay.
And you can also read the name of the angels. Dominations, potestas, archangels, angels, principates, virtues, thrones, and there is Christ with the two angels on the sides are the cherubs and seraphim.
No.
Yes,
Oh, cherubs.
the
That's
most-
the one
yes,
I missed
the most
earlier.
powerful.
Yeah, that's true.
Are close Christ. And that Christ that is in a blessing position, you see,
Sí.
Is not the Christ that has been made man.
Oh.
Do you see that as not the ones, the Stephans? Huh?
Is the one under him the one
hands
that was?
and the feet
Oh, yeah.
are without
Oh.
the holes of the keys.
Oh, yeah.
This is pure God. Never been man. Never made man. Do you know? In a judgment position,
Yeah.
and is the God that
Made man.
made man. Crucifix, of course.
Sí.
And you see behind the right one is open,
Oh,
and the left one,
it's down.
see, is
It's turned backwards.
in fact
Yeah.
on.
All right.
Is right.
All right.
There
yes.
is the heaven, you see, the angels and
Oh,
the
yeah.
saved souls, And on the other side, there is the hand, and the devils, and the damned.
Yes.
And there is another big devil that is eating a man, a damned,
like the other one.
in the other. And also the tombs.
Oh, below.
And under there are the saved souls on the right that has been at the meeting point. There are the angels. Instead, on the other side, the devils that waiting for them. You see, there is a devil that is opening a tomb and a very worried, terrified soul. Do you see the soul that is terrified because he realized to be in the hell side.
Yeah, not in the other side. Oof.
It's from the life of Christ, and you can see because it's in restoration, but there is the history of the life of Saint John the Baptist. Do you see? He had heading.
Yeah.
Salome with the face on the plate.
Yeah. Thanks to my amazing tour guide who I got to talk to for 2 hours and sip prosecco with, and he told me all about history of the city and around other cities in Italy. The gentleman that you just saw the video with, what an amazing tour guide. I am now checking out another museo. This museum has some original pieces in it, which I'll show you soon. I'm really just going to show you what I'm seeing because I want you to make your own artistic perspective. That's how I like to look at art. And I think others do too. Original doors on the baptistry. Now they're replicas and they keep the originals behind glass. Another set of doors from the old baptistry that represent the Old Testament. Okay, how cool is that tree? It's cutouts in red metal, I'm guessing. That is so cool. But my tour guide that I had today for the Duomo, but he was amazing. Never mind was his speech, and I shouldn't say speech, his speech was very clear, but he also has this amazing personality, and apparently was also a history teacher, which I learned because he and I talked to each other after our tour was done, and actually like sat down and had a coffee, and we talked for like 2 hours, and he told me other things, and then took me to another church and explained to me the architecture and things like that, which you've already seen in this video. But he didn't have to do any of those things. And it's just that feeling that makes me believe in people and believe that, you know, we're all just here together and we survive better by helping each other. So I am so grateful for meeting him, and hopefully I will come back to Florence sometime. If you want to know his info, just let me know, because if you ever come to Florence, you should book a private tour with him, or he does group tours as well. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.